Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how, or at least how I do it, how to take off, or how to remove and clean the carb on your John Deere 212. First things first, obviously you want your tools. I go unlock the garage quick, so that way I can make sure I have everything. So now, you also want to make sure you got your keys ready in case you ever need or happen to have to start it up, which will be done directly after you have finished with the carb clean. Now, first you want to move anything in case you have to move this, which in case I do, because I don't have enough space to work on this thing. Bike is moved. We can get this thing moved. Pretty simple on moving these things. You just slight neutral check. You want to make sure. And then you push back. In my case, I'm going to be slow because I do have a flat tire. You guys can also see it doesn't want to move. That's something to say. And the new tire I got, or the tire, this thing was in the way. Still doesn't want to move. Most like stuck. Neutral check again, make sure it's in neutral. And it was ever so slightly in second gear. So that was our problem. Now, this whole, and yeah, I'm gonna have to drive that thing to make sure it has a leak, because actually, hold on, folks, we've got an axle leak. Now I gotta take apart this transaxle too in another video. That's not getting done for a long time. Also, if you would like to see the flat tire, got that from the scrapyard. It holds air. That one doesn't. So, first things first, my hood is going to look or act different than yours, as these 212s do have limiters. You see, like this one here, limiters attach right up here and stop your hood. However, my limiters are broke, so instead of just going like this, my hood falls down. Yes, this is officially my mower now. I just want to say I do have equipment in here, but that won't really affect anything. And my throttle cable is a bit different. First things first, I always just like to put her in A gear. In our case, we're going to put it in second, because I don't feel like lifting the tab. And yes, that is the leak from the, what we thought was the axle leak, and has turned out to be an axle leak. Just got to lower the tripod down here. First step of this is relatively simple, although I do have a broken part on here. First step, you need to remove your air filter. You just gotta, these nuts here. So now, just simply shake it a little bit. Should come right out. You do have to move it to the side because you're fairing. This should come right out. You can see it's not looking healthy and does have to be replaced. However, not many parts for this engine are still available, so getting stuff with this thing is going to be hard. I hope that's not bad. Please tell me it isn't. So, next thing to do, note where everything is. Got a tube here, I'm assuming for breathing, then a cooling or some sort of other pipe there. Mine is broke. I'm going to say that straight out. Mine is broken. Does not properly attach. There's supposed to be friction to keep it there. However, the one on ours is broke. Mine is broke. So, wanna get your size. Make sure you got the right size and that it fits nice and snug. That way you don't break anything. Managed to get the right one second try. Turns out that one of them was indeed loose. That can't be good. Now, this is just a housing. The carb is actually behind this. It's like the bottom of your, like if you have an old carb engine. At the top, the oil filter, your air filter itself, and the bottom. Yeah. So, we're just going to simply take these off. No, I don't have a ratchet at the moment. So, I'm going to pause the recording until I get these off. Okay, so, now these are only hand tight, as you can clearly see. So, I'll move you a bit closer. Just going to slowly take these off. And get these off. This plate should come right off. But it shouldn't just fall off. Of course mine will, because the tube on the front is broke. And I believe this bottom one is also broke and did break recently when I tried cleaning the filter. Or, honestly, taking it off, I'm pretty sure. Just took it off. But yeah. So, just unscrewing these. These holes, I don't know what they're for. This hole, I don't know what it's for. It's for something. See, it didn't fall off. Also, keep all your parts inside your top cover. But yes, so now, I'm going to just raise you guys up a little bit. And you guys can see our actual tube over here is actually doing its job. As I take this off, see, that has to slide out. And there is our top. As you guys can see, tubes on the back are broke. We're just going to set that on the ground. You don't want them tubes to get too dirty. And now you can see where the one's connected. Right there. And it's got goop on it. No, I don't entirely remember what that is for. But it does seem to have been leaking. And I feel like it's been probably causing a lot of performance issues, as this thing has been performing really bad for time. You can also see where the other one goes, right here. Let's just hope that tube isn't too important. At this point, should be able to kind of see where everything goes. And honestly, from here it shouldn't be difficult. You should be able to slide it. No, I think there's a screw that holds it. Okay, let's open it up. I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. Make sure Then later find out that there are 2 flatheads holding this puppy on. So, you got 2 flatheads, one right here, and one right over there, both tucked away. I'm gonna grab my flathead. I'm gonna attempt to get these off, and then find out that screwdriver can't get to them. Also gotta be careful here. This is your fuel line, which there is a fuel filter. Just gonna check the top. And indeed, those 2 flatheads are holding this thing on. As you can see, 2 flatheads. They also are shaped like wrenches. So, I'm gonna attempt to, if you guys watch, there you go. Oh no. That shall do. Hopefully. There. Alright. Now you just gotta find your right size. Okay. Now, you just want to make sure you got the right size. And then begin to take them off. Okay, also too small. Guys can see this is a bit of a pain in the butt to get at. But that is because it's a horizontal shaft and it's not a vertical shaft engine. You can tell by where the spark plug is located up top. Okay, there we go, guys. Got her. Okay, so I don't think I ever took this thing off. So I don't ever recall going through all this pain misery just to get this thing off. Okay, hopefully. Well, I can't really pause the camera right now. But yeah, shouldn't be that tight. Really gotta get these limiters on here fixed. Now you just want to get your other side. And now, pause recording, and I'm going to go look for a marker so you can mark where your choke cable is, because you do not, and I repeat, do not want to get that misaligned, as these are tuned to pretty much almost perfection. So you want to have that exactly where it was. Obviously, it won't be too bad, but it can and will affect performance in the long run. Okay, I'm back at this. Now you want to mark exactly where it is. Exactly it is. Don't worry about getting any marker on anything, like on these brackets. And now I'm just going to mark up here where the front of it is. That way, in case we got to reline it or realign it, can. And now, fun part is we have a new mission. In order to take that off, you can either use a incredibly stubby screwdriver, which I do not have, or take your entire fender off, which I have to do. Hopefully this process shouldn't take incredibly long. It may take us about a minute or two. Yes, these are not the original bolts, because they went missing, and this was just sitting on the ground, and I needed a way to get this on. So, you probably guessed it, I put my own bolts on here. And these, you don't want to set in your pan. Set them on the ground. Once you get this off, put the bolts inside of here, for obvious reasons. I did have to use 2 different sizes. Grab that one. Yep. Okay. Now, one thing I do like to do is I like to put the nuts either in here, which obviously isn't entirely the best choice. You actually want to put your bolts back on if you can. Oh, there it is. There it is. So you guys can see these ones are actually really good. Because you see that flap there? See how this is all scratched up? That flap actually rubs against the teeth. When the teeth go, they rub against. You can see how like my finger doesn't move because my nail's in the groove. Yeah, same thing with the bolt. This one, however, does have a tab, but it's severely messed up. This one over here is messed up, but it's just enough to where I can't slide it out. Be careful, because once you take these off, these can be slid off. I'm pretty sure there's one on this side. Well, I'm almost positive there is, or it's just a different style. But it's not exactly the same as the one on here. One thing that, well, because of my situation, why I like to use wrenches. One, they're extremely convenient. Two, also kind of proves you're not lazy. And three, you get exercise from it. It's just the downsides are it's a bit slower, and these things can get kind of big and bulky and won't fit in too many spaces. But there are times where a wrench is the only thing you can use. Let's see, I'm just unscrewing it here. Okay, last few turns here. Now this should slide right off on the ground. There. Yes, there's supposed to be bolts on the bottom as well. You guys can see right here. If you look, our brackets. Yeah, you can see I can slide this in, screw it in, and it won't come out. This one, however, just slides. And if you're wondering what this arm is, it's your limiter. This one's holding the throttle cable because it's way too big. Yes, I had put tape on it because it's also too small. Tape is the only thing that allows it to be held. But now, the screw over here, we can actually get to. And now remove it. Yes, this is the only flathead I have. As if you watch the moments of when I used, or of when I was taking apart the transaxle for the RX-73, which is still in the garage and disassembled, you guys can clearly see me, well, one, struggling, obviously, and two, my wrenches go missing and then repeatedly go flying. But yeah, this is your choke. We're going to set this in our air filter pan cover. And you can now also get better access to your screw over here on the carb. What you have to use a wrench for, and are practically required to, now you can see these can't be put in. You can see these slots over here. These slots are actually where the bolt slides in, and then you push the carb on. Now, thankfully, you only got to take one bolt completely off, because he'll just slide right off. The other one, our case, is the one we're taking off. I know you guys can't see much. I'm just trying to get this off. A lot of grime on this one. And this might just be uninstalling the carb, as I don't truly have too much time. It's coming out. Now you gotta get the other one here. Move it. Or not move, but unscrew it. Okay, and now screwdriver. Hopefully, let it turn. It won't. Smells like fuel over here. And clearly we're taking apart carb, so expect there to be a strong smell of fuel. And I don't believe the 212, I believe that the 212 has no shutoff valve. So there's obviously going to be fuel in our carb. Once this is off, open up our gas cap and do that fun business. Okay. Okay. That is one off. Bingo. Now, time to open up your fuel cap. Take you guys along. We also gotta turn on our flash now. And yes, I do believe this is supposed to be a breathable cap. I think. Or no, it's not breathable, because one time I sat on that and I heard the air rush out. But yeah, now that that's off, I gotta go through the fun business of... don't let that slip now. This is actually really nice, because it's not them pins you gotta bend. These ones just slide right out. Grab our carb here, pull straight up. See, it came right out. That should slide right off. Now, it's time to get the lines off. Now, these have several, and I mean several positions. There's more than one. I do believe that is for tuning. But, pan. You just gotta bend that out, mark, or remember where that is, where this one only has one place. But yeah, I'm just gonna slide that back on that bolt for now. And I gotta take a look here where the fuel line is connected. I have never taken one of these off before. So, not only will this probably be new to you, but it's going to be very new to me. Because I've never worked on a carb of this style before on this particular kind of engine. Although I have worked with this engine brand, because